Welcome to the voice editing task number 1. Okay, now let's just have a listen to the audio region we have at the moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Okay, so your task is to edit this audio. So we're going to chop up each individual region or each individual number, and we're going to arrange them so the audio says your phone number. Okay, now there's a couple of things we have to do before we get going. The first thing, we need to make sure we are in slip mode. Okay, slip mode means that I can click anywhere on the screen and I'm not confined to clicking within a grid. Okay, if it was in grid mode, I would only be able to select chunks or beats, okay, which makes accurate editing impossible to do. So you need to make sure you're in slip mode so you're not confined by any grids. Okay, second thing what we want to do is we want to make sure our tools are all selected. So to get the 3 highlighted like that, all we need to do is click this center tab just there. That means that we have the multi-tool. Now, next thing I want to do is just enlarge the track just so I've got more space. So when we have this multi-tool engaged, the top half of the region I'll have my selector tool. If I move to the bottom half, I now become the grabber tool. Notice how my hand is now the grabber tool, and the top half it's the selector tool, grabber, selector, and so on. If I move it to the end, it gets the bracket, which is the extender and trimmer tool. Okay. Now the final thing before we get editing, I will need you to make sure that you have this A to Z icon enabled. Basically that means that keyboard shortcuts for the edit window is enabled. Okay. Now, first task is to separate all of the numbers, creating 10 different regions. So, what that means, we need to trim the regions so they begin just before the actual waveform and end just after it. Okay. Now, we're not going to be able to do it very accurately if I'm in this view. Okay. What we need to do is zoom right the way in. So, first thing I want you to do with the selector tool is just click right at the start of the first waveform. I then want you to zoom right the way in, okay, and there we can see the good slice of the audio.
1,
okay.
1.
Now, using the selector tool, I want you to find right where the audio starts, just there. Now, to separate this region, all you need to do is right click and separate. See this line, it's just come up there? That means this region has now been separated. We have 2 different regions. If I zoom back out, we have one region there, and this is the rest of it. Okay, we've just separated this region into 2 different regions. Alright, so I'm going to click towards the end, zoom back in. Now I want to slice and create another break right where this audio finishes. So that looks about right. I'm going to right click, go and separate. Now I should have my audio region
1.
perfect, just like
1.
that. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do the same with number 2. So notice how I've been using these zoom in and zoom out buttons up here. There's a keyboard shortcut. Okay, you can use the letters T to zoom in and R to zoom out. Okay, it makes it much quicker to use keyboard shortcuts other than the mouse controls. Okay, so I'm just going to simply zoom right in. That looks pretty much right. Now, instead of using the right click separate, I'm simply going to use the keyboard shortcut B. Okay, B stands for break. Alright, so I've just broken this region in half. So zoom back out, which is R. Okay, I'm then going to move my cursor towards the end of it, zoom in with the number T. I'm going to find the end of that audio about there. I'm going to press B for break again. Zoom back out, R. Okay, now you can see we have an audio region there, and an audio region there. I'm going to delete these spaces in between just for ease's sake. So with my grabber tool, I'm going to highlight and simply press backspace or delete. Okay. I could also use the command Control X to cut. Alright. Now let's just do the number 3 one very quickly. Click about there, zoom right the way in, find the start with the selector tool, about there, beat a break, zoom back out, navigate to the end of it, zoom right in, just there, beat a break, R to zoom out, and there I have my number 3. I'm going to delete that region just there. Okay, so at the moment I have 3 regions. Now, I'm only going to use this just because it's a demonstration, but I'm going to create a new track in which I can copy and paste my numbers onto. Now, to create a new track, I can either go up to track and hit new, and that'll open my new track window, or I can use the keyboard shortcut Control, Shift and N. That also brings up the new track window. Now, if we have a look at this, I want to create one new track. It's going to be mono, and it needs to be an audio track, because obviously I'm going to place these audio regions onto my audio track. So that's fine. You can see down here I've just created a new track. Now, you need to rename this audio track to phone number. So the way we do that, double click audio 1, right, phone number. Okay, done. Now I'm going to enlarge that to make it easier. So what I'm going to do, let's say my phone number starts with the number 3. I'm going to use my grabber tool, highlight it, and now you can either right click and go copy, move your cursor to the phone number track and right click paste. That's one way of doing it. Or you can use the keyboard shortcuts, highlight it, Control C copy, Control V, oops, sorry, Control V paste. Okay, they're the same as the Word shortcuts. So you've got Control C copy, Control V paste, Control X is cut, and Control Z is undo. Control Z is very, very handy. So if you do a mistake and you lose some audio, Control Z will take you back to the final spot. So what we want to do after we've trimmed our regions accurately is simply copy and paste the numbers to say your phone number. So if I just do this very quickly, just an example, copy, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Now, when I want to return the cursor to the start, so if my cursor is about there, I simply press enter. To play the region, the shortcut is space.
1, 2, 3.
Just like that. And space to stop as well. So
1, 2, 3.
simple stuff, okay? Good luck.